Hey out there, legal warriors, let's face it, talking to the police is usually not a good idea. In this video, I'm going to cover why talking to the police usually isn't a good idea and certain things you can do to protect yourself if you think it is a good idea to talk to police and you choose to talk to them. So if you're interested in this area of the law, stay tuned because this is the video for you. My name is Attorney Lance Fryrear, and I'm a defense attorney in Linwood, Washington. My law firm's been defending people charged with crimes for more than 20 years, and I'm putting out these videos to help educate the public. So if you find this useful, please like and please subscribe. More people will get the help they need. Now I'm just going to jump right into it. What am I talking about? Well, have you ever heard people say, just shut the F up and don't talk to police? I think there's someone on TikTok or Instagram that's got a lot of followers from that. And let me tell you, that's usually the right idea. It's usually not a good idea to talk to the police. And I'm going to cover some of the reasons why, and also what we can do to mitigate some of those reasons if you find yourself wanting to talk to the police or you find yourself in the midst of talking to the police about something that they care about. So why is it? Well, there's a bunch of different reasons. So let's start with reason number one. Reason number one is if the police are talking to you, the odds are they suspect you of something. Unless you've called the police because someone stole your car or your house burned down, and maybe this advice doesn't apply then, if the police are talking to you and you didn't expect them to, the odds are that they suspect you of something and they're not trying to help you. And guess what? Police are trained. Police are trained to engage in casual conversation with you to begin with and to make it seem like that they're not really out to get you, they're just trying to learn some facts. We just want to hear your side of the story. And if they're talking to you about a road rage incident or an assault or you pulled over you for a traffic stop, right? These questions they're asking you aren't because they're just genuinely interested in you as a person. You look really interesting. No, it's because they're trying to do something. They're trying to prove a case, okay? So if you're in a situation and you don't know why the police are talking to you, one way you can deal with that is to ask them, am I a suspect in something, right? Are you talking to me for what reason? Am I a suspect? What is it that you suspect me of? That type of stuff. And if they give you the runaround, just say, no, thank you. I don't want to talk to you. You are not required to talk to the police. Plain and simple. We're not allowed to lie to the police. That's a crime, but we don't have to talk to them. We still have the right to remain silent until the Supreme Court takes away that right too. So just stand by. I'll put out an edit if this country turns into where we have to talk to the police. So what you want to do is you want to be direct and just ask them, why are you talking to me? And they're allowed to lie to you, but you can, your spider sense can go off. You can ask them questions too, right? And when they get tough with you, just climb up, okay? So what's another reason why we might not want to talk to the police? Well, the second reason is that because when we talk to people, we tend to use politeness. We tend to use normal ground, and so we don't want to talk to the police. The second reason is because the regular rules of conversation do not apply when we talk to police, right? If someone were to tell you, a stranger would tell you, well, the Mariners are doing okay this year. You might say, yeah, they're doing okay, just not to start an argument, just to be nice. Well, you might think the Mariners aren't doing so well. You might not be the type of person who wants to be confrontational and say, no, they really suck, okay? And the police rely on that sort of human nature to find middle ground with people and to not cause conflict. And so let's say you're accused of, let's think of a good example here. How about, we'll pick a scary type of crime. You're accused of touching someone illegally, right? You're accused of sexually touching someone illegally. And let's say you just didn't do that. And the officer might say, well, you have been alone with the person before, haven't you? And you might politely want to say, yeah, I have. Well, now that officer just gave an opportunity, just created opportunity by your own admission. You've been alone with that person, so you had the opportunity to do it, right? And maybe you weren't ever actually alone, but you might have just said yes, right? Because we want to try to find common ground. And so if we deal with police, how we counteract that is we are very direct and are black and white. you answer yes or no, or I'm not going to answer that question, right? So if they were to ask you a question, were you ever alone with that person? If you're not sure, you don't say, yeah, I might have been. You say, no, I wasn't. Because that is the answer that protects you, right? And so we don't generally want to talk to police because the normal niceties that we engage in human speech get turned into evidence against us, right? Even if it wasn't actually evidence. The third reason that we don't want to talk to police is that oftentimes people, including police, hear what they want to hear, right? They sort of presuppose an outcome. This person's guilty, and they interpret what somebody says as supporting them being guilty. And it can't just be as simple as hearing it wrong. The brain is fallible. How many times have we listened to a sporting event where, let's say, the Seattle Seahawk announcer, calls the Seahawks by the other name? Well, the Titans just scored, when really it was the Seahawks that just scored. Or, and they don't even know they said it. And so the same way with people hearing things. You ever have a spouse or a loved one hear one thing when you said the other? Well, no big deal there on the football game, or hopefully not a big deal with your spouse or loved one, but a huge deal with the police, because whatever they write in their report is a verity, is the absolute truth to the prosecutor and the court, and the evidence rules say it's an admission out of your mouth. So we don't want to talk to the police because they may hear it wrong, either right purposely or, I think more often, not purposefully, right? I can remember a case where the crucial fact in the case was whether or not my client was in a certain location or not at a certain time. And the officer wrote down in his report that he was. And that was the basis of the crime. And the prosecutor charged that crime by looking at the report and reading what the officer wrote down that my client supposedly said, right? Thank God it was taped, because when we listened to the tape, the client said exactly the opposite. The client said, no, I wasn't there, but the officer wrote down the client said, yes, they were. So we had to take it to the prosecutor. The case got dismissed, and I guarantee you the officer didn't get fired. But yet, without the tape, my client's in jail, right? And forever marred. And so another reason not to talk is someone else's listening ability or honesty or dishonesty is controlling what happens in your life. Okay, so what's a countermeasure? If we decide we're going to sit down on an interview with a cop, if we're going to do something, and you better talk to an attorney about that first, you're going to want to make sure that it's recorded so it's accurate. I don't like video because there's a lot that's interpreted from video, but audio I like because black or white, you said it or you didn't. And so if we decide we're going to talk to the police, then you can have them recorded. And also, case law says that us talking to police is not a private conversation. We can record it also. We can record what we're talking to the police about. So, if you're going to talk to the police, make sure that there's a recording of it if you can. It may cause hostility, but what happens and how it's written down, we're going to be stuck with. So let's make sure we have something to push back against if somebody makes a mistake. And the fourth thing, and the final reason I want to cover, is a really big one. Is you don't know as much about the law as you think you do. That's the reason we shouldn't talk to the police. You may think whatever you're telling the police helps your case, and in fact it's actually destroying your case and building the entire case against you on behalf of the government. And this is a very easy example to come up with. The assault charge, right? There's a squabble at the casino, and there's some pushing that goes on. Or someone throws a drink in someone's face, and the officer comes and they ask your side of the story, and you think, well, I didn't hit them, so I didn't assault anybody, I didn't hit them. No, officer, I didn't hit them, I only pushed them. Well, I only pushed them as admitting to a crime, because any unwanted touching is a crime. No, officer, I didn't hit them, actually I didn't touch them, but I did throw water at them. Well, throwing water at them, even if it doesn't touch them, can be assault. You admitted to a crime, right? Those type of things. And so the reason why we shouldn't talk to the police is because we really don't know what they're looking for, and we don't know the law. We might think we know the law, but we don't. And the law in Washington State, almost everything's a crime. Why do you think we're so busy? So reason not to talk to the police is that you don't know as much as you think you do. And so how do you combat that? Well, one way you combat that is, of course, you watch all these videos. You learn more about the law, you understand about it. And then the other way you combat that is to listen closely. If an officer is talking to you about something they say, and they're trying to lead you to an answer, for the most time when they're leading you to an answer, it's an answer they want that helps them. Well, you didn't hit them, you only pushed them, right? Can't tell you how many times I've heard that on a tape. Yeah, you're right, I didn't hit them, I only pushed them. You're under arrest. Okay, that's just an easy example. There's plenty of more out there. So, learning more about the law and really listening when the officer's trying to lead you somewhere is one way to combat it if you are making the mistake of talking to a police officer when they suspect you of something. So there's all types of reasons that we do want to talk to police, and police are generally out there to help us all. I'm not anti-police, but I am pro you not putting yourself in a worse situation than you need to if the government's looking at you for supposedly doing something someone didn't like. All right? So I think that's going to cover it. If you find this useful, please like and please subscribe. More people will get some help they need. And just as important, if you're in a criminal situation, if you need some help, feel free to reach out to my firm. We'll listen to what happened. We'll identify a way forward, and we will be there for you. Thank you.